First and foremost, good morning, everyone. It's great to see everybody at the 6th grade orientation. Welcome to the middle school, to the 6th grade. It looks like everybody grew a few inches since graduation. It's going to be a great year. I am Dr. Lenahan, the principal. Let me do some introductions before we get moving along. First, our assistant principal, Mr. Scott DeBellis.
Good morning, everyone.
Mrs. Defrancesco, our guidance counselor. Mr. Andrew Calaswano, who's the director of athletics and also assistant principal in the middle school. Mr. Sullivan, our school psychologist. And Mrs. Pinto's in the back, our secretary, if you have any questions.
She's the most important person in the room.
That's right.
We don't have it. She's the most important.
Everybody knows that already from Coddle. Anyway, well, anyway, so congratulations. This is the beginning of starting to get to know you. And it's so nice to meet all of you. Just to take you through, it's going to be a brief orientation. We have a lot going on in the school. I'll update you on construction and how the protocols are going to go with Mr. DeBellis. First of all, I want you to know we have caring teachers. This is the 26th 6th grade class. When you go through the first floor classrooms, you'll see the 25th anniversary of pictures of students who have come before. So many of our teachers, this is Miss D's 23rd year. 23rd year, so these teachers are well experienced in middle school and 6th grade, and they really do care about you and they want to see you succeed. Many of the students in the pictures are now successful professionals. Some are in high school and college, so we're well experienced and want to make sure this is going to be a great 6th grade. We're also going to go through some new courses and schedules. You got your schedules. You don't have to know everything about everything today. Just to put you at ease, I want you to relax. If you have questions, the first day of school, we're all going to be here out in the halls. No one's going to be in their offices. We're all going to be here to help you and support you. So if you leave here, you think of something tonight, tomorrow, over the weekend, don't worry about it. You can call, but the first day of school, especially for the 6th grade, the teachers will be out. All our support staff will be out. So we'll take you through the courses and schedules briefly, and then a brief tour of the building. The first floor is the wing for the 6th grade primarily. I would say 75% of your time is there, so it's important for you to get to know that today, and then you can work on your lockers. I'm told this is the biggest turnout for orientation they've seen. I sent 4 emails. I guess I'm the one who was responsible for it. So we're going to, locker area there is kind of tight, so if you could stagger or just take your time. Usually it works when you just have students, but now we've got adults at the locker, so I just ask everybody to be courteous and be patient, given the limitations in the locker area. So, I introduced Ms. Defrancesco. Guidance is very active. She has team meetings for the 6th grade, the 6th grade teachers twice a month to work with you. She'll take you through that in a few minutes. It's an ongoing process where we communicate and have feedback loops, both from the teachers and from the parents. Mr. Sullivan is an active, proactive psychologist who's really there. SEL is a critical aspect of everybody's development, especially coming in a transition year from 5th to 6th grade. He's available and very out front. Mr. DeBellis will take you through the protocols of the daily operations of the middle school. Mr. Calaswano is in his 4th or 5th week as an administrator. He's off to a great start. He'll be handling activities after school, as well as behavior and also athletics. Secretarial staff has already been noted for their excellence and also their importance. Ms. Hoffman is the middle school secretary. She's right up front. She does attendance. You can purchase locks from her after this session. And Mrs. Nicoletos is the guidance counselor secretary. So we're all set there. They'll be around the building. You can introduce yourself, or they'll introduce themselves after the tour. Just some of the 6th grade teachers, obviously they're finishing up today. They've had a very busy summer as far as professional development, where those of you, you're out of school so many years, you wouldn't recognize education today. This is my 20th year in the district. Cell phones weren't around. There's so much that has changed. I talk to friends and colleagues in other professions, and they make the mistake of thinking things are similar to when they went to school. It is totally unrecognizable, and it should be, because the world has changed. We have to prepare people for the world of the 21st century, and education, needed to adjust. And I will tell you, having been here, Tuckahoe has been in the forefront, for more than a decade. So I'm very proud of that. 6th grade teachers, I'll point out the primary teachers of the core classes. Miss Blanchard is an English teacher. Miss Terselli, who's there on the bottom, also does English. We have 2 sections of English per day. Language arts, NELA. Miss Benedetti is a special education teacher. Miss Dwyer, special education teacher. They'll be there to support the students. Mr. Moore is our social studies teacher. Mr. Greco, our science teacher. And Miss Beach, primary and math teacher. The specials include our music department, which is fine. You'll get to meet all those teachers, art, phys ed. So we have a well-experienced and established staff who can handle 6th graders and are well prepared for the transition. Chromebooks. I mentioned how times have changed. I know Chromebooks, with the pandemic, they were introduced earlier into Cottle. Our teachers have been, I will tell you, Tuckahoe was the 2nd district in Westchester to go 1-to-1 on technology. Students, Chromebooks, both in the middle school and the high school. Professional development has been ongoing. Mr. Moore takes the lead. Mr. Chris Keogh is in charge of technology. So Chromebooks will be distributed to you, brand new Chromebooks when you come to a new school. It's part of the package. So basically on the first day during English class, we will deliver your Chromebooks to you. There'll be a form sent home on technology usage to the parents. We ask that you please look at it. It'll be emailed to you. Take a look at it. It has to be signed and returned for a usage policy. So that will be done the first day of school on Chromebooks. So subjects you are taking, everybody, you get a new middle school schedule. We have an 8-period day. It starts, the bell rings at 7:42. Mr. DeBellis will take you through that. Of course, we look for people to arrive around 7:25 to get ready for school. You would come to the auditorium. It's a 1-through-8 schedule. Very similar, you just follow 1-through-8. And the only complex thing, and it's really not complex, like I said, you're the 26th middle school, 6th grade, is we have different days, 1-through-6. So you'll have English every day, you'll have math every day. Ms. D will take you through it, social studies and science. But basically, you may have phys ed on day 1, chorus on day 2. So those days are significant. There's 6 days. You may have, I'll give you an example. You may have chorus or band days 2, 4, and 6, and then phys ed 1, 3, and 5. It's pretty easy to follow. After the first 2 days, you'll be fine with it. But I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Ms. D will talk more about the schedule. So, with no further ado, I'll introduce Ms. D and Mr. Solomon. You want to come up?
Good morning. How are you? Welcome to middle school. I'm going to be your guidance counselor. I'm Ms. D. I'm loud. I'm going to be in your classrooms. If you can't hear me, we're going to go to the nurse and have your hearing checked. I'm really super loud. I may walk into your classrooms at any moment. I'm going to yell good morning, and I expect good morning back. Can we do that? Yeah. Can we practice once? Yeah. Good morning! Good morning! Excellent. So now you know what to do when I come in the room. So, middle school is a little different than Cottle, but you guys changed classes in 5th grade last year, right? Yeah. Okay, so it's not as different as it used to be. So you're going to have 8 different periods. Your schedule probably does not have period 5 on it because that's lunch for everybody. And Mr. DeBellis will talk about how that lunch works. He arranges all that craziness that goes on in the cafeteria. If you don't have a period 1 on your schedule, that's where gym, band, chorus, strings, those kind of classes go there. That just means that Mrs. Nicoletto, who's the guidance secretary, didn't get your choice. We'll put it on today. You'll stop in the guidance office and we'll fix it up. If there's anything else that you have questions about or needs to be changed, you'll stop in the guidance office. We'll change it and fix it up so you're all ready to go on the first day of school. I share an office with Mr. Solivan. He's not as loud as I am. We have a conference room and then we have separate offices when you go in. So there may be a high school kid in there. Okay? Because Mr. Solivan works with the high school students as well. Everybody gets along fine. We never had a problem. And in 23 years, I have to say, I've never seen this many people here. So this is really nice. And it's nice to see all the dads. We usually don't get a lot of dads here. But when you come in, you may see there's a couch in there. You may see someone sitting on a couch. That doesn't mean you can't come in. Just come in. If the outer door is closed, don't knock. Just come in. Sometimes we keep the door shut because it's really hot in there. We need to keep the air conditioning on. Or sometimes we keep the door shut just because there's noise in the hallway. just come in. You don't ever need to knock on our outer door. If our inner offices are closed and we might be with a student or a parent, because everybody gets to come back to school this year, I hope to see all the parents in person. Just knock and come on in. If any time you need to see me or Mr. Sullivan, you simply say to your teacher, I need to go to the guidance office. No one's ever going to tell you no. And if they do, you let me know. They'll never do it again. Okay? Anytime you need to see us, you say, what do you say? I need to go to guidance office. And just come on in. Okay? We're there for you all the time. Is Miss Nicolettos out there?
She's in her office.
Okay. You'll see Mrs. Nicolettos. She has the office across the hall from us. If you ever need one of us, you go in there. She knows where we are every minute of every day. It's like our mother works across the hall from us. She knows where we are all day long. Myself and Mr. Sullivan are here to help you with whatever may occur in middle school. Some stuff happens, right? Sometimes our friends get us upset. Sometimes our parents get us upset. Sometimes our teachers get us upset. Or sometimes something really good happens and you want to share that too. But whatever it is, we're here to help you, talk you through it, and try and help you any way possible. We know it's a big change, even though you changed classes last year. We know it's a big change, but most of your classes are going to be on the first floor, so you're going to be near every adult here. You're going to be right down the hall from all of us. Next to our office is Mr. Colaswano's office, and right around the corner is Dr. Linehan and Mrs. DeBella. And by the way, see how they're dressed today? I want you to look at their faces, Mrs. Colaswano and Mrs. DeBella. They don't dress like that over there. They just dress up for you guys. The only person you'll see in a suit is Dr. Linehan. So look at their faces, because that's how they look. Anyway, I'm not going to take time for questions now because you can come see me before you leave. But if you have any questions, if you just want to come say hello, if we need to change anything on your schedule, just pop in before you leave. If not, we look really, really forward to seeing all of you. We want to make your sixth grade experience, we want you to learn, school, right? But we want you to be safe and have a really good experience as much as we can make it that way. Okay? Thank you so much. Mr. Sullivan, it's all yours.
I'm going to keep this brief. Ms. D is right. My name is Mrs. Sullivan, and I am not as loud as Ms. D. The one thing I can say, I'm very excited for all of you here because middle school represents a time for a restart. Any difficulty you had in the past, that's left behind. You have a brand new start here. And the one piece that I'll give to all of you, students and parents, is Ms. D's right. Come to us with anything. The one thing I can say is come to us early. The second you see anything brewing, the second anything's going on, come to us because it's a lot easier to work on a smaller problem than one that's been growing for weeks and months. We'll help you with that too, but a lot of times we have the greatest success when as soon as you see something, let us know about it. Difficulty in class, difficulty with a friend, difficulty with feelings, let us know early so we can get in there and help you as soon as possible. Welcome to middle school, and who's up next? All right, thank you guys.
Now Mr. Colaswano will address clubs and activities.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I just want to take a few minutes to go over the offerings that we have here at the school for our after-school clubs, our athletic program, and things of that nature. So you can see up on the left-hand side, we do offer a wide variety of clubs. Some of them are in the arts, some are in the music field. We do offer a great student government organization run by Ms. Benedetti, who will ultimately hold an election, and we'll have officers for that organization. They run a wide variety of events throughout the year. So that's one of the activities that you may want to get involved with. Aside from that, we do have a yearbook club as well for those of you who are so inclined to go around and take pictures and be part of that organization. We do have a media productions club that we're going to try to expand a little bit this year, where they may do some broadcasting of events, especially with the athletic events. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see our inter-school athletic program. So a big question that gets asked every year is, when do sports start? So for in New York State, it's not our rule, it's New York State's rule. Sports start in 7th grade, so next year, many of you may begin to express interest in participating in athletics here at the school. So on September 6th, we are starting the sports that you see up on the board here. Those are our fall sport offerings. So we have football, boys and girls soccer, volleyball, and cheerleading. In the winter, we offer boys and girls basketball along with ice hockey. So ice hockey is a merged program that we run with the Eastchester, Bronxville, and Edgemont School District. And then in the spring, we do offer baseball, softball, and boys and girls lacrosse. All right. Also, we do have some sports that we only offer at the varsity level currently. So sports like tennis, swimming, those are sports that we do offer, and there's a process that we, work with our middle school students if that's an interest of yours to help you to test up to play at that level. So that's a process that I'll take you through. One of the major events that, even though sports don't start until the 7th grade, that we do ask, everyone to get involved with is we do have a Spirit Week at the high school and the middle school. And we do have our annual homecoming weekend, which we're going to be expanding a bit this year, bring together the community. So that'll be October 6th through 8th. So I'll be putting out an itinerary of events, and I encourage all of our 6th graders to get involved with a club or activity that we offer. If you have any questions about a club or activity or a sport for next year, or anything about a homecoming weekend or an event here at the school, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available, and all of my information will be posted on our school webpage. All right? So I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And now, daily protocols. Let me just speak briefly before Mr. DeBellis does on the construction. If you saw my email home on Tuesday, as you know, we're renovating the library and the cafeteria. That expected completion will be mid-October to late October. We were hoping, actually, I was pleased with what I heard. I was worried about things going a little later, so that's good news as far as I'm concerned. It's all relative to where you're at. We would like it ready now, I know that. But, with supply chain issues and construction, protocols, we have to do what we can. So that is ongoing. They also are working on the classrooms. That was done. You'll see a couple of final notes as you go around the 6th grade classrooms. That is for ventilation and air conditioning in the new wing. That'll be ready to go next spring. I'm told on the roof they have to finish up, and supplies are coming in for roof work. But the classroom work is pretty much done. And then after school, they'll be working on wiring in the hallways. That'll be the after-school project. Basically, as far as security goes, we've met with the construction company on security and workers entering and leaving. They've agreed to have someone there, and there'll be a protocol for that going in. Basically, isolation of the construction area from the students was addressed in our meeting last Thursday. So basically, it's really walled off what's going on. It's 2 areas in the building. They're all down there. They'll be part of the tour next year, sorry. And when we open up, I'm sure they'll have a little bit of a grand opening in late fall. I'm around for any questions after that, but Mr. DeBellis will now take you through the protocols on a normal year and also what we're going to do for the fall given the construction.
Good morning, everyone. Ms. D is 100% correct. 99.9% of the world is not as loud as her. She is very loud, but it's because of enthusiasm and passion that she has for the kids and for what she does. So a lot of the information that I'm going to cover is available on our website, so you don't need to take notes. You don't need to, worry about remembering it all right now. But again, we want to make sure that when you come in, especially the first day or two, that you're comfortable. I saw a lot of smiles from the kids. I saw some students looking a little bit nervous. That's why we'll be here, to make sure we guide you through it and that it's comfortable for those first 2 days. And by day 3 or 4, you're going to be an expert at it, so it won't be a problem. In the morning, we ask the students to come in, and we will have them wait in the auditorium, the middle school students. High school students will wait in a different area. As Dr. Linehan said, because of the construction, the cafeteria is closed. However, we will still have breakfast available. So students will be able to go down, grab a breakfast. Usually it's going to be in a bag, and they will be able to come on up here and eat. Okay? If you don't want to do that, then please have breakfast at home before you come in. Like Dr. Linehan said, we ask for everyone to arrive between about 7:25 and 7:40. Classes start at 7:42. So again, you don't want to start your day frazzled and running around because you're late, so try to come in around that time. Parents that are dropping off, we ask that you please drop off on Middle Road. All of the buses have to arrive and drop the students off on Siwanoy, so we ask that before 7:40, you please use Middle Road. At about 7:40, we will close that door on Middle Road, okay, and then we ask for you to please come to Siwanoy, all right? One of the things, if possible, is to try to pull up curbside to the school. Okay, we will have our school resource officer. His name is Officer Minio. He will be outside. He will be directing traffic. But we get very nervous when we see parents on the other side. Kids are running across and crossing. Okay, we want to make sure that they're safe. All right, so please adhere to that as best as you can, because again, ultimately, we want to make sure that we don't have any kind of an accident. Attendance. All the research will tell you, one of the most critical components of student success is attendance. We need students to be here every day. If they are sick or there is a true emergency, then obviously you use your discretion as a parent, but we need them to be here every day, okay? And there's an expression, you gotta show up. If you show up, that is more than half the work, okay? And making sure that you're prepared, that's the other half of it. All right, so be here every day. We do have a letter that is up on the website. It has our attendance procedures. Mrs. Hoffman is the one that you would reach out to in the morning or send an email to and let her know if your student is not able to be here today for whatever reason. It's important because when we go into the system, we code that accordingly. Okay, there are only certain absences that are considered to be an excused absence, and that comes from New York State. So you can take a look at our attendance policy that is up on the website. Lunch, my favorite time of the day. So we try to break it up, and sixth graders, we want to give you some time by yourselves. We know it's an adjustment time. Seventh and eighth graders, they can be a little bit rowdy. They're a little bit more comfortable. You guys will be there next year, all right? But sixth graders will go to recess for the first half of the lunch period. We try to go outside all year as much as we can. So again, if it's not, raining or the weather is not terrible, we want to get outside, okay? Not having the library right now, not having the gym right now, it makes it a little bit tougher, so we want to use that field as best as we can. If you're someone that you don't like the cold as much, bring a hat, bring gloves, okay? If not, we will have the auditorium available where you'll be able to either just do some work or, read or whatever. I say that, but I know everyone's going to be on their phone, scrolling, snapping, whatever they're doing. So again, the idea is we want you outside, we want you getting some exercise, relieve that energy and that stress. It's probably the best thing for us, all right? About halfway through the period, we will switch, and then students will eat lunch in the gym. Okay, one of the things that came out of the pandemic was we learned how to adapt pretty well. So eating up in the gym is something that we had to do for a while due to the pandemic. So this is not going to be very different for us. The cafeteria will bring up carts, and they will have food on the cart that students will be able to get lunch. Okay, they usually have 2 or 3 different choices, and they will get a lunch right there, or they're welcome to bring their own lunch. Okay. So again, either way, we will have food available, but you are welcome to obviously bring lunch. Behavior. We're going to meet with the students probably the second day of school. We start with the high school. We'll meet with them the first day. We meet with every grade level, okay? And then the second day, we will meet with all of the middle school students where we'll talk a little bit more about behavior and expectations. Couple things, though, that I think are good words of advice. Be kind, be respectful, and be inclusive. Okay, I think those are words that all of us want to feel that way as well, right? My grandmother used to say it, and I think it's a great saying, treat others the way you want to be treated, okay? If you don't want to treat or want to be treated poorly by someone, then you know what, maybe go out of your way to include somebody that normally isn't included in your group, okay? When we go out for recess, it is not the Super Bowl. It is not the World Cup. We are out there to have fun, play a little bit, but we don't want it to become a competitive sport out there, all right? So if somebody wants to play, everybody should be included and be allowed to play, all right? That's important as far as I'm concerned. So please keep that in mind. Ms. D, Mr. Sullivan, Dr. Linehan, everyone has said it. We're here to help. So if there's something going on, we ask that you come to us early, okay, so that we can be proactive and try to help in some way or form, all right? We're not sure. Relationships, especially middle school students, it can be difficult. And I think sometimes as an 11 or a 12-year-old trying to navigate those relationships and trying to understand, it can be hard. So we're here to try to help you get through that. Okay, one of the things I will recommend and I will say is parents, please monitor their social media. I have a 7th grade student. My wife and I are on his phone every single night, checking his text messages, checking his snaps, checking Instagram, and if there's something on there that we don't like, then obviously it gets addressed immediately. I think that is probably one of the most proactive things as a parent that you can do. Students, we ask you to please remember, whatever you put up on social media, it doesn't go away. That's what's called your digital footprint, okay? And what you say in a few years, I know it's hard to think about, but when you're applying to colleges, that is something that they might look at, okay? So that's really important. So please use that social media responsibly, all right? We'd rather see you reading a book, but we know that everyone's gonna be on it. So again, please be careful and use it appropriately. Again, if you go to our website, you will see the district code of conduct, okay? Please look through it. We will speak with students about DASA, or the Dignity for All Students Act, which basically gives protection to certain groups of people, okay? I think if you follow the rules that I said earlier in terms of being respectful and being kind, I don't think you need to worry about it, okay? But there are certain protections that are given by New York State to different groups of individuals. So please, again, we'll talk a little bit more, but if you have a chance, read through that over the weekend and let us know if you have any questions with that. Last thing, dress code, okay? It's important that when you come to school, number one, you are dressing appropriately. We ask that whatever t-shirts you want, we know students are gonna start to find their own style, which is great, but it should be appropriate. There should nothing be offensive. Obviously, things that are prohibited should not be on a t-shirt. Okay? And, you know, Dr. Linehan has said it for years, but when you go to the beach, you dress one way. When you go to a family party or you go to church, you dress another way. When you go to school, you should also dress appropriately. Okay? So please, make sure you dress appropriately. It's important. I think the way that you present yourself, not that it's the only thing that matters, but it is something that's important. You go on a job interview, okay, or you're going on a college interview, you're not going to show up in flip-flops. Right? You're going to wear something nice because you want to present yourself in such a way. So we ask that you do the same thing when you come to school. Extracurricular activities. Mr. Calasuno had went over the different choices. I think it's very important for you to try something new. If there's something that you've wanted to do and you've never done, now's a good time to give it a shot. Okay? We do have what's called eligibility for all of our extracurricular and athletic activities. Okay, and again, that is also on the website, but it's about making sure, first and foremost, I was a varsity coach for football for many years and for wrestling. I still run a youth wrestling and a youth football program, and we tell the kids all the time, you are a student athlete, and it's in that order for a reason. So your primary job is to go to school and do as well as you can, and then by doing that, you get the privilege of going and being able to participate in all the extracurricular activities, okay? But again, that's up there for you to review. It'll also be in their handbook that we give to the students on the second day when we meet with them. Last thing, lockers. Lockers are a big deal. I spent most of my career in high school before I came to Tuckahoe. I had no idea of how important the lockers are to the kids, okay? So a couple things that we want to just make sure everybody understands and adheres to. Number one, you must put a lock on your locker, okay? It's important because we want your stuff to be protected. We don't want someone going in and take something that they shouldn't, okay? But it's important that you also don't share your combination. Mrs. Hoffman was selling locks. I saw some students buying them, which is great. We ask that you give us a combination of the combination for your lock. And the reason why is sometimes kids forget, sometimes they might not know how to use it in the beginning, so we can open it and help you as opposed to cutting it off. Okay, if we can't get into it for whatever reason, then obviously we'll have to cut it off, but we don't want to do that. All right, it's expensive, and you don't need to pay an extra $8 or $9 for a lock. All right, the locks that you can change the combinations on, I'm giving you a piece of advice. We have about 10 or 15 of them a year that end up getting reset accidentally, and then we have to cut the lock. So I would suggest that you use a traditional master combination lock. Obviously, the keys can be an issue as well, all right? So practice it, learn how to use it, all right? And when you set up, hopefully you'll put your lock on there, and then you will be all set. If you have any questions, I'll be around. Please feel free to give me a call or email me, and we wish you a great year. Thank you, everyone.
During next week's assembly for the 6th grade, the PTA generously donated planners to the middle school, so we'll be distributing those to the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Thank you to the PTA for their support. And in the planner will be help you a guide. When you ask your child when they come home to see it, and you can plan out each day accordingly. All the code of conduct and other things Mr. Bellis referred to are in there also, and we're around for any questions. Just where are your classes? They're mostly in that corner there. We'll take you through it, as I mentioned, on a brief tour. There'll be some classes on the 3rd floor, the 7th and 8th grade, mostly on the 3rd floor. A special may be up there. Students are around the building, though. I've been the high school principal for 20 years. Our kids get along. I got to look from a child there. Yes, I'm that old. Anyway, basically, you know, the school integrates well. The kids all get along. A lot of us have siblings in the high school. You know, it's a family situation here. The kids look out for each other. And like I said before, when we offer, the teachers are excellent. They really do care for the students, and they're very well experienced academically. Elective classes, I said, are on the 3rd floor. You may get a schedule there, but if you have any questions, you can ask Ms. Defrancesco or Mr. DeBellis. So let's just take a tour. As I said, this is a capacity crowd here. If we just, maybe Mr. Collis, why don't you take the wing there, right there, through that door. Basically, the way it'll work, we'll go through the 6th grade wing, make a right-hand turn through guidance, and the guidance office is the main lobby where you came in. If the lockers, if you make another right, just follow, it's basically a square that you're going to follow toward the lockers. The lockers are right outside the auditorium here, adjacent. So you go out, you make a left, go visit the classrooms, make a right, and then it's all rights from there. So we'll be here to guide you. It's not that big a building. Just so you know also, I've had a lot of experience here, and I will tell you this, all the research educationally tells you that the best way to run a school is to have a small school. You know, there are many advantages to a smaller school. I grew up in New York City, and, you know, I would say about 15, 20 years ago, all the big schools in New York, you know, you're familiar with the city, those big schools, they all divided them up into smaller schools. The research tells you if schools of less than 400 are the most efficient. And I tell you, I run the middle school and the high school like a small school. You know, if I had 4,000 students here, 5,000 students, which some schools do, you know, basically I'd have to run it totally different. So we take advantage of the smallness. There are some disadvantages, of course. Many of our teachers have multiple preps. Sometimes course offerings aren't as great, but the Board of Education is very supportive. Dr. Goodman is very supportive. She's been great on supporting the academics and the extracurriculars here. So on behalf of them, I welcome you to the middle school, and now we'll begin the tour. So Mr. Collins, we'll go with sections if you don't mind. Are there any questions, though? I'm sorry. If you don't have, Ms. D is around, I'm around, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be in the hall if you have any specific questions. If Mr. Collins, if you would take the first group, we'll go by groups.